All right, let's dive into something huge that's developing right now, Operation Epic Fury. We're going to break down what we know from a really critical Pentagon briefing. This is a story about a high-stakes standoff with Iran, where you've got incredible military power facing off against a ticking diplomatic clock. So just imagine being on the water right now. This is the exact message being broadcast by U.S. Navy warships to any ship that gets near the Iranian coast. I mean, listen to that. It is direct, it is crystal clear, and it leaves absolutely zero room for negotiation. So what exactly are they enforcing? Well, it's a full-on blockade. And according to the Pentagon, that's not just a casual term. It's a formal act of war. The whole point is to completely seal off Iran's ports to all shipping. The goal here is to squeeze as hard as possible, hoping to get results without ever having to fire a shot. So is it actually working? Well, the number is 13. That's how many ships have already approached, heard that warning, and decided to turn right back around. So far, it seems nobody is willing to test just how serious the U.S. Navy is. The show of force is having an effect. And all this pressure comes down to a very clear ultimatum laid out by the defense secretary. He basically presented two paths, and they couldn't be more different. On one hand, there's the nice way, what he called a golden bridge to a diplomatic deal, to a future with prosperity. But on the other hand, there's the hard way, and that means blockade and bombs, economic fury, and destroyed infrastructure. It's an incredibly stark choice. So what kind of power are we even talking about here? This is an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer. I mean, just look at these specs. It's a 9,000-ton floating fortress that's longer than a football field and a half. It can hit speeds over 30 knots, and it is bristling with missiles, torpedoes, and guns. It's an undeniable statement of military might. And remember, this is just one of the ships out there. But for all that incredible advanced technology, there's this amazing human element. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs pointed out something pretty stunning. He said that the person actually at the helm, the sailor steering this 9,000-ton warship through these incredibly tense waters, is often just 18 or 19 years old. Think about that. That is an unbelievable amount of trust and responsibility on someone so young. Now, the pressure campaign wasn't just happening out at sea. Not at all. Back in Washington, a completely different kind of battle was playing out right from the Pentagon's briefing podium. This was a war of words, a fight to control the story. And Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth went right after the media. He made this really pointed comparison, saying he was in church when he thought that the press were just like these Pharisees from the Bible. He basically accused them of having hardened hearts, suggesting they were just refusing to see what he saw as the operation's success. And as all of this is unfolding, the blockade, the war of words, there's a massive clock just ticking down in the background. 5. That is the number of days left in the ceasefire. If there's no diplomatic breakthrough in that time, we could be looking at the resumption of full-blown combat operations. The stakes just keep getting higher. Which really leaves us with this one giant question. You've got all these military pieces moving on the chessboard, and you have diplomacy on a razor-thin deadline. So who is going to decide what happens next in what is arguably the world's most critical waterway? The future of the entire region might just hang on the answer.